What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Boleros. Sam here with the Sultan of Sando and Mr. Maui up. This is a surprise episode. May kita nyo parang sa background namin. You'll probably see it in the description also. The NBA is on Disney Plus. So we're
And the
going
NBA is on Boleros
and
also.
the NBA is on Boleros. So I
Dreams
think
come true. Dreams do come true.
dreams do come true. Tama ka,
Umabot na tayo
Maui.
sa NBA.
I think this is for the first time ever. Actually, hindi. We talked about the Luka Doncic trade, but for the first time ever, we're going to talk about the NBA and some of the NBA games. So we're going to talk about the Clippers versus the Wolves game today. Gab, Maui, you guys saw the game. I guess initial thoughts on the Clippers versus Wolves game. Wolves storming back, being down by as much as was it like 15, 18,
18
something like that.
points.
18, right? 18 points and uh winning by uh ilan na mga ba? 2, 3 points. So Gab,
3
points.
points.
3 points.
109, 106.
On a
Gab,
Nasri's game winner.
Nasrid,
Nas
we'll talk about
Reed!
him later.
Drop your Nas
Boy,
Reed in the
Nas
chat.
Reed.
In the
Shout
comment
out to
section,
Nas
drop
Reed.
your Nas Reeds.
Gab, thoughts on the game?
Actually, to start this game, to be honest, ang pangit. Especially from the Wolves side, parang sila yung nasa back-to-back. A lot of turnovers. I think they turned it over 5 times in the first quarter. Rudy Gobert, there's a reason why they don't give it to him even when he's free. Kahit when even if he's free was a pick and roll, there's a reason why they don't give him the ball because he just fumbles it most of the time. Julius Randle was sloppy. See, Anthony Edwards was sloppy. Their defense was sloppy. They were not going out to shooters. They were not rotating. A lot of easy baskets for the Clippers.
Lots of one-on-one.
A lot of one-on-one basketball, yes. But it was mainly the defense and the sloppy offense. A ton of turnovers. And on the other side, on the Clippers side, I was pretty shocked on a back-to-back. Naglaro si Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi played. Si Mr. Load Management himself actually played in this game. And I thought him and James Harden had an amazing first half. James Harden dictating a lot of the offense for the LA Clippers, and si Kawhi Leonard just getting to the mid-range. I think he started off the scoring. I think he hit a 3 to start off the game. And that's what you love to see from the Clips. Aggressive start. I think in their previous game against the Memphis Grizzlies, this is how they started also. Great first quarter, yung end first half, fast start, big halves from Kawhi yung, and from James Harden. But in the second half, the script flipped. I have to give a shout out to the role players, si Jaden McDaniels and si Nas Reed, because I think they played big time, especially in that third quarter run. Si Jaden McDaniels, I've always been really high on this guy. It's taken a while. If I play a lot of fantasy basketball, I drafted si Jaden McDaniels quite a few times in the past. I stopped drafting him because he's so inconsistent at times.
Inconsistent.
Yeah, he's very frustrating. There are games he just disappears. Like, he'll score like 2 points, grab 3 rebounds, and that's it. Now he's pretty important to the Wolves. I mean, he's their best defender, best perimeter defender, lengthy defender. Siguro si Rudy yung most important defender nila. But you love to see this type of game from Jaden McDaniels. Kasi there are times na even wala si Anthony Edwards, he does not up his usage. Parang same player lang siya, even pang wala yung stars. But even here, with the stars here, he's more consistent, he's more aggressive, you're looking for a shot. I think his bag has expanded also, his dribble package. He's a more consistent shooter now. And this is what you love to see, him getting out on the open floor, hitting his mid-rangers, hitting his threes, and just out-hustling the LA Clippers. Nas Reed in the fourth quarter, he's like a superpower yung off the bench. Actually, he is the Timberwolves bench. There is no one other on the Timberwolves bench. He is the bench of the Timberwolves.
That's true.
Diba? He outscored the entire Clippers bench. I think the Clippers bench scored a total of 15 points. He scored 19 by himself. Si Naz Reid. We'll go to the Clippers later and their bench problems. But yeah,
Oo nga, no?
si Naz,
19-17, actually.
yep. I think they scored some 2 points. I think si Bogey hit that jump shot in the end to give them 17 points. But yeah, he outscored the entire Clippers bench. I love the last play by the Timberwolves. I think it was a McDaniels top of the key shot missed. They got an offensive rebound and they just moved it around. It
Swing,
went,
swing.
diba? Swing. It went to Jaden McDaniels, to Mike Conley in the corner. He drove baseline, kicked it out to Anthony Edwards. It was a hard closeout to Anthony Edwards, and Anthony Edwards made the right pass to the corner to a wide open Naz Reid. Excellent basketball. That's the way basketball should be played. If you're looking for something to emulate, no? Ganun. Ang ganda ng ball movement in that last possession for Minnesota, and ended up with a 109-106 win. On the Clippers side, I think this is becoming a theme. They slow down in the third quarter. It happened also a few games ago against the Miami Heat. They could not keep up the pace of their first halves. Talagang, I think, Maui, you said it, they're the worst fourth quarter team in the NBA. And it looked like it. Parang nawalan sila ng gas. And honestly, if you look at their lineup, you'll not be surprised. Because they are old and they looked old. Again, they don't have bench production. Brook Lopez kept on bricking his threes. Wala. I think it's the first time he's played in, 6 games? 7 games. He hasn't played in a while.
Limited minutes.
Yung limited minutes, they just kicked out Chris Paul, who was one of their bench guards. Bradley Beal is not there. Si Bogdanovic is the only one who can generate offense off the bench. Si Derek Jones is not there. He's injured. Si Jordan Miller, he's injured. They don't have anything coming off the bench. And their starting five, aside from James Harden and Kawhi, and actually si Kawhi looks a bit slow also. Well, he's always been slow, but he's slower now. They don't have any support for James Harden, to be honest. And James Harden was amazing in this game. I'm glad I have him in one of my fantasy leagues. Delivered for me today. I think he had 19 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, and 4 steals in the first half. Incredible. Ended up with a 30-point game, was just making every sort of play. And even when Minnesota made their run in the fourth quarter, that was without James Harden on the floor. That's how important James Harden is. I think Maui, you sent this to us. Their offensive rating falls off a cliff without James Harden. Even with Kawhi on the floor, their offensive rating falls off. They cannot, and you see it on the basketball floor. They have no options on offense when James Harden is on the bench. Wala. It's surprising when that you have capable offensive players like si Bogdanovic, Kawhi, John Collins, Zubats. Wala. Pretty worrying if I'm Steve Ballmer and the Clippers. Well, they're now 6-18? So I don't know. Should they blow it up? I guess we'll ask that later. But great win by the Wolves. Second half, definitely they owned it. They showed that they were definitely the more athletic, the more conditioned, the younger team. Kudos to the role guys. And to Naz Reid. I love Naz Reid. One of my favorite players to watch. Sammy, Maui.
Mr. Maui, up.
Yeah. Actually, to be honest, this was my first time watching NBA on Disney Plus, and some key things that I noticed. Very nostalgic ang feeling. It feels like I was watching basketball TV with all of the ads of the TV shows in the series during timeouts. Very nostalgic feel ang Disney Plus. I think a lot of people my age would definitely miss yung basketball TV style of broadcasting. A lot different.
Alam mo ba ng mga bata ang basketball TV?
I don't know.
They even know what TV is.
They probably don't know what basketball TV was. This was the only way all three of us could watch NBA basketball. during the early 2000s. And this watching this on Disney Plus really gave me a nostalgic feel. It was nice that they had the pre-game show, and basically,
Okay nga yan.
despite all the ads, they did not miss any basketball action. I think Signal or Pilipinas Live has to look at this platform to understand that you can mix ads and you can still watch games and not miss any of the actions. Touching up on the game, actually, si Jaden McDaniels. I'll start my point on Jaden McDaniels because I thought he was the main X factor outside of maybe that Naz Reid run during the fourth quarter. Jaden McDaniels has actually upped his game so much this season that he's averaging, I think, career highs in field goals, 3-point percentage, and even his free throws. He's actually been putting up 3 points higher than his points per game from the previous season. And you can see the added aggression. I think it has a lot to do with Anthony Edwards missing some games during the early part of the season. And if he continues to be like this, I think the Timberwolves could be a very dangerous team. Remember, this is a team that lost Nikkei Alexander Walker off the bench. And as Gab mentioned, their bench is very shallow. So another guy, much like McDaniel, should step up to the plate and score more points and be more aggressive. Because the usage has freed up. I was actually surprised si Anthony Edwards was, I think, only attempted 11 attempts during this game. And I think 6 nung previous game. He's been attempting so many shots. And I think this game, he understood that he was giving McDaniels the freedom to score, which is why McDaniels had one of his best games of the season. And on the Clippers side, I mean, si James Harden was timeless. I would say si James Harden has been timeless.
Walang kupas.
And
Galing.
and he's actually passed Carmelo Anthony to be on the top 10 of the all-time scoring list. That's crazy. I think a week ago, si Kevin Durant moved into 6. We have 2 players from the OKC Thunder already in the top 10 in the NBA scoring list, and that's crazy. Just to think about it. James Harden was fantastic. I think the whole game, he was the reason why they got the lead in the first half, and he was the reason why this became a game in the end game. I thought that Minnesota was gonna pull away and run away with the win when the Clippers were struggling. And I think if you look at the offensive rating, as you mentioned, Gab, the Clippers dropped by 40 to 50 points per 100 possessions when James Harden is not on the floor. That's crazy. I think they're a contender on the offensive end when Harden is there, and maybe the worst team in the NBA without Harden. So props to James Harden. I think I didn't see him being this good this late in his career. It's crazy. And some notes, si Bogdanovic actually first played his first game since I think November 20. So the Clippers are starting to get healthy, but a lot of players are injured. And it's a bit crazy that si Chris Paul was let go, and we'll get to that later. It was fun. It was a fun game. Si Wally Zerbiak was even shown during the game. And I was actually wondering, did he lose his job as a New York broadcaster because of that Halliburton skit last year? But actually, he's still I think he's still employed as a New York broadcaster. Flashbacks from the Halliburton, the Halliburton clip. I don't know if you guys remember that he was calling Halliburton a fake all-star for like a full minute, yung highlights. Basically, Gab gave a very good recap. Minnesota flipped the script. I think a lot of it has to do with them taking care of the basketball. They had 10 turnovers in the first half and only 3 in the second half. That was crucial to prevent the Clippers from scoring easy baskets. That really paved the way for their huge rally in the second half. And Minnesota is a very good half-court defensive team. So when you take care of the basketball, definitely you will also be able to set up your defense and limit the opponent's easy chances. Yeah, Sam.
I have a question. Which team do you associate with Wally Zerbiak more? is it the Wolves, the Knicks, the Cavs? Di ba he had a stint with the Cavs? Ano ba? Celtics, I think he went to the Celtics for
Yeah.
yung for a time. So, Sammy, what do you... Is Wally Zerbiak a Nick? Why is he on the Knicks broadcast?
Broadcast nga eh, no? I think for me Wolves pa rin. Classic Wolves. I loved playing him on
Kevin
my play
Garnett.
my games before with Kevin Garnett kasi yun yung 1-2 duo mo, 'di ba? KG and Zerbiak. Um Medyo nung nag-Cavs siya, the only other team that I really remember him on is like the Cavs kasi he was helping out LeBron. Pero medyo matanda na rin siya noon eh, 'di ba? Pero nung Wolves siya, yun yung like peak Wally Zerbiak for me. So, nostalgic nga
I
yun.
think
And
he
I think he
became
was
an all-star with the
with the
Wolves, di ba?
Wolves,
Tama ba?
with the Wolves. Yeah.
Maybe a
And
one-time All-Star.
I think he was also with sino ba yun? Troy Hudson ba yun? Si Hudson? Tama ba? Yung
Yeah, yeah,
kasama
yeah.
niyang point guard nung bobblehead
Troy
niya. Eh. So,
Hudson. Oh,
oh,
yeah.
classic. Sabi ko,
He was
I
a
know
Ano,
hate.
this guy. I know this
lumalabas
guy.
age natin dito, bros.
He was a heat
Actually,
check guy. He was a heat
he
check
check
guy.
scoring guard. So, natuwa ako when I saw both of them.
Sorry, some final notes pala. The Wolves are now winners of 5 straight, and the Clippers are actually 4-16 their past 20 games. Oh my God.
Oh,
That's crazy.
sige, Sammy,
Um,
let's go to your reactions and notes before we go to some hot take questions.
okay,
Do want to
sige.
get into some hot take questions.
I do want to get there. Siguro, for me, I think you guys mentioned pretty much everything. I do want to give more praise to Naz Reid. I think Gab, he shot well from the three, made huge hustle plays. Gab, you mentioned the one that ended up getting the win, yung three niya where they got the rebound, the ball kept swinging, it went back to Naz Reid. I do want to note, I think it was Naz Reid who got the offensive rebound. He was the one who tipped
Yeah,
that ball,
yeah, he did. He did.
I think to Edwards or Daniels or something. A few plays, a few minutes before that, he had a similar play. I think it was to tie the game or to get the lead. Similar play, offensive rebound, kicked it out, went outside for the three, went back to him, hit that huge three. So I'm loving what I'm seeing from Naz Reid. I think he deserves to be like maybe my player of the game. Jaden McDaniels definitely kept them in this game. Julius Randle also scored a lot in this game. Although to be honest with you, I'm not the biggest Julius Randle fan. Marami siyang
He's,
ISO
ano eh,
plays.
Sammy, si Julius Randle ay high risk, high reward. Parang you love him and you hate him at the same in one game. Eh. Diba?
Yeah.
There, there were plays in the first half, parang galing. Yung getting to his mid-rangers, he had a good defensive stop on Kawhi.
May
But
block
there are
siya.
also some plays na parang, bro,
It's accurate talaga eh. Parang
just
pass the ball.
just kick it out. Oh, pass the ball.
Pass the ball.
Kailangan pilitin, di ba?
Ball
He's one of
stopper.
those guys.
Ball
Yeah,
stopper.
he's a ball
Exactly.
stopper.
That's what people call it.
Exactly. There were a couple of plays in the second half where, in the fourth quarter, na walang namascore ang Wolves just because Julius Randle pinipilit niya sa loob ng
Sa
paint
loob,
against
di
Zubac.
ba?
And he
Against
couldn't,
Zubac.
and he couldn't finish against Zubac. And I was like, you have Anthony Edwards there. Jaden McDaniels is hot. Naz Reid is hitting threes. Maybe try to move the ball around Julius Randle. You know, get your other teammates involved. But I don't know. There are times he looks like an unstoppable force. You know, when his mid range is hitting and when he's so strong inside the paint. But there are times talaga sa amin, yung gaya na sabi mo, he's frustrating to watch.
Yeah, but to be fair to him, nagulat ako. I was looking at the stats eh. Parang, wow, he had a more or less pretty efficient game today. But for me, mas na-highlight yung mga frustrating plays eh. I think there was another one na, I think it was Julius Randle eh, na naiwan na ata si Gobert open sa ilalim or something and then he didn't pass the ball. But anyway, yeah, but he had a good game. And I think they needed that from like McDaniels, Randle, and Reed because Maui, you mentioned. I was actually surprised si Anthony Edwards wasn't aggressive, didn't play that well today, but I think nakita nga niya, McDaniels had the hot hand. Grabe, 10 out of 13 from the field for McDaniels. So, uh, good game for him. I agree with you, Gab, though. Matagal na akong high on him, but he's been so inconsistent na I'm out of the McDaniels Island, but maybe I should buy some stock on McDaniels Island ulit because he's been good. He's been good for the Wolves. Um for the Clippers, I think you guys talked about yung you guys mentioned yung fourth
Ayan.
quarter.
Former
Um
Clippers fan Sam
Former
Santos has spoken.
Clippers fan, by the way, over here, since the Elton Brand, Darius Miles, Lamar Odom days. So showing my
Ano pa
age
yan?
again.
Quentin
Ganon ganon.
Richardson.
Darius, Q Rich, Corey Maggette. I think you guys mentioned yung fourth quarter nila being one of the worst in the league. I think offensively yung scoring nila, it was mentioned during the start of the game eh. It was like pag sa first quarter they're 13th in scoring, but pagdating ng second, third and fourth they're like 22, 25 or mid 20s, and then on the fourth it's like they're 29th, something like that.
That's
So
age. That's when you know they are washed.
oldies talaga eh, no? So
Masyado na marami
I think
anks.
that's the problem for the Clippers. Definitely could have used Norman Powell, who's been really good for Miami too. They miss Norm
They didn't
Powell
want to
Playing on,
pay
a,
him.
playing on an All-Star level right now.
right now, and last year he was one of their best players, if not their best player. So I don't know. I think yung problem mo with the Clippers is okay lang naman mag-tank eh if you had your picks. Pero it's not with them. So paano
That's
yun?
one of my points for this game. Clippers kailangan yung gumaling. You can't give
Yeah,
another top pick to the
to the
Thunder.
Thunder.
Are you kidding me?
I mean, this is
Unprotected first
unfair.
round pick is with the
This is
Thunder.
unfair. This is unfair.
Thunder could legit win 70 plus games this season and still get the
Could
number
break
one
the
pick.
record. Could break the record. They have a chance to break the record and still get the number one pick. That's crazy. I don't think that's ever happened before, diba? Okay, Gab, may questions ka
Yeah,
tungkol sa atin.
I just some random notes from this game. One, I do love that they kept on showing the one guy in a white cap. I think when Zubats was missed his first free throw in the fourth quarter, and I think they have a promo that if they miss two, they get also
Manok.
free chicken, or Chick-fil-A or something. To all the local leagues here, please, sana may ganun naman. Para, although I don't think yung kayo lang ibibigay no yung libreng pagkain because there are usually two fan bases in one arena, diba? Kung kanila bibigay, I wonder. Yung pakitaan ng student ID sa
Pwede,
kung
pwede.
kung ano mang restaurant chain yung gusto nilang bigyan ng promo. But yeah, I do love that guy. They showed him a couple of times. He was so worried about wanting that free chicken for Zubats to miss his two free throws. They showed him again when I think James Harden, I see Bogdanovic yung tied the game. They showed his face. He was pretty worried. They showed his face again when they got the free chicken and he was so happy. They showed his face again when Naz Reid hit the three and he was so happy. Ang ganda. They always cut to him whenever a big play happened. And siguro yung facial expression niya summarized what it felt like to be there for Minnesota Timberwolves fans. The other thing, it's so ironic that the Clippers are now one of the most shallow teams in the NBA. Given that in the preseason, nearly the whole... I watch a lot of NBA media and everyone was calling the Clippers as one of probably the deepest team in the NBA. They had Chris Paul to back up James Harden. They had Bogdanovic to back up Bradley Beal. They have Kawhi, Derrick Jones, and Nick Batum, John Collins, diba? Everyone was saying,
Brook Lopez was a huge acquisition, diba? To back up
I think
Zubac.
this happened din during the time na si Paul George pa ang duo ni Kawhi. We've seen this story.
Yeah, every time, even this preseason, everyone was calling the Clippers the deepest team in the NBA. They're so deep. And now you look at them, their bench is non-existent. They were, aside from Bogdanovic, who looks a bit, I don't know, old and washed, and maybe the injuries have caught up to Bogdanovic. But aside from Bogey, they don't have any bench production at all. Brook Lopez, as I mentioned, kept on bricking shots. This is the first time he's played in 6 or 7 games. Nick Batum is good for 1 to 2 threes only. They don't have any bench production. It's crazy. As I said, Naz Reid outscored their entire bench. Their signings in the offseason, si Bradley Beal, Chris Paul, Brook Lopez, even si John Collins, who they traded for Norman Powell. They all look pretty washed. They all look old. They all look like they don't have a second gear to them. Ang, ang lala yung manood na Clippers game because they just fall off a cliff. Talagang they start off strong and then steadily they just their intensity of play, their energy just goes down, down, and down. See, only James Harden can consistently play at the same level for 4 quarters.
That's true. Yeah.
And even then, you see him fatiguing a little bit in the fourth quarters. But it's sad. So my question to you guys, as I said, should they blow it up? Should they trade James Harden? Should they trade Kawhi Leonard? Because they're obviously going nowhere. And they're even if they do blow it up or they don't blow it up, they're still gonna give the pick to the Thunder. So they still don't have a pick. So should they just acquire a pick? Acquire picks for the future? Wala sila pupuntahan ngayon eh. I don't think they can sign anyone because I think they're in the first apron already.
Hard cap
so
sila.
hard cap. They're hard cap already. I don't think it's gonna be hard to trade for someone because who are you giving up? That's not Zubac, Kawhi Leonard, or James Harden. Diba? Who will want Batum? Who will want Bogdanovic? Sino mag-trade sa inyo for that? Diba? Second round pick at best, diba, for Bogdanovic, diba? At best na yun. So what? Should they blow it up? Sammy, Maui.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. Definitely. I think si James Harden is on a player option for next season then. That's something they have to be forward looking. I think they basically lost Paul George for nothing. And that's they don't want that to repeat after imagine what they had to give to get Paul George. It's why they're in this predicament in the first place. They should have had SGA in a Clippers jersey right now, but they decided to trade him for Paul George, and now they also lose their future because they traded basically their whole slew of draft picks to get Paul George. To me, actually, si Harden is somebody I would be looking at because it looks like he still has gas in the tank. Maybe si Kawhi is another guy you can look at. But si Harden, if I were Harden, I'd probably be the most frustrated guy right now because I would think that he still thinks that he could be a key piece in a contender. He's been that good
He
for the
is
Clippers.
the system, diba? Yun ang sabi niya. I am the system.
He is still the system for the Clippers, and you can see how they nosedive. Their offense nosedives when he is subbed out. I mean, you can talk about maybe the effects it has on the defense. How Harden probably does not have a good effect on the defense of the Clippers, but just look at the effect he has on the other end of the floor, and you instantly say that this guy could still be an impact player on a championship contender or on a contending team. Maybe not with this kind of usage, but we've seen Harden become more of a playmaker in the other years that the Clippers were more loaded, and it's crazy to see him still have gas in the tank, still have that asim to score a lot of points. I didn't know that he still had this type of gear. But yeah, I think the Clippers, I mean, what more can you watch out for? They're one of the oldest teams in the NBA, and yet they can't get wins in November, in December. Diba? They should be dominating this early because when it gets deeper into the season, of course, the fatigue also sets in more so than it is now, than it is right now, early in December. We are not even halfway through the season, and they're already struggling with bodies. They're struggling with fatigue. So yeah, definitely, if I were the Clippers, I would blow this up. I actually read somewhere that they're the team with the most bobblehead nights. They have a bobblehead night for
What?
Chris Dunn. They have a bobblehead night for Batum. They're giving away basically free merch. And the ironic thing is, I think they have a bobblehead night for Chris Paul in January or February, and he's not even there anymore. So I think they have to go full rebuild. Even if it's Steve Ballmer, who has unlimited cash, unlimited war chest, I think we've probably seen the peak. We've probably seen the best that we can see with Kawhi and Harden in a Clippers uniform. So yeah, definitely they should find a way to push that reset button.
I agree.
Sammy.
I agree. I just want to say a comment first regarding the Clippers. Gab, you talked about yung lineup nila, no? I think yung problem with this lineup, Gab, is they're 5 years too late. If this was 5 years ago, baka ang ganda ng lineup na to eh. This is a solid lineup. 5 years ago, Brook Lopez, Bradley Beal,
John
Chris Paul,
Collins, di
Harden,
ba?
John Collins,
Yung
Kawhi
John
Leonard.
Collins sa Hawks, he was great.
Atlanta, John Collins, yeah, even Bogdanovich, Batum. So, they're that old. I think that's the problem. They're all injury prone. Most of them are way past their prime. So that's the problem. Uh, I think the best situation is to blow it up. The problem is what are you getting for most of these players? So I think that's why most of us will look at James Harden and say maybe James Harden is your best trade piece. More or less almost an expiring contract, may player option pa. Still really very good. So you might get some positive value out of him. Zubac also is a very good player.
Zubats, trade him back
But
to the Lakers.
I wish. Okay, as Lakers fans, syempre, 'di ba? Gusto natin mangyari 'yon. But maybe baka si Zubac maybe is medyo untouchable for me. Still kind of young. You can build your team with a solid center like Zubac. You can build a contender with a solid center like Zubac. Everyone else I think is tradable. The problem is yun nga what are you getting in return? And I think
Oy,
that's why
pero Zubac, John Collins is actually younger than Zubac.
Zubac, yeah. But Zubac is all-star level last year, di ba? I mean, John Collins, I don't think he's gonna get to that point. So, para sa akin, is he really going to be part of your core? Maybe. He could be a good role player, but if you get positive value out of him, if you could get picks for John Collins, okay lang sa akin si John Collins. The problem is Kawhi, he has a lot of issues on and off the court, so I don't think teams are lining up to get him. So I think
Unc
I agree with
Dennis.
Maui. James Harden. Si
Uncle
Unc,
Who wants to trade for Uncle Dennis? Yun eh.
basically.
Hindi naman talaga si Kawhi eh. Si Uncle Dennis talaga eh.
Basically.
Sam, you mentioned Zubats, and every time I watch Zubats, it gives me sadness and anger at the same time, because why did the Lakers trade away this guy for Mike Muscala? You remember
For a
that,
bag
Sammy?
of chips. Of course, I know that trade. I can't forget that
For
trade.
1
Last
year. Actually, half a season of Mike
last
Muscala.
last heist ni Jerry West yun as his revenge to the Lakers.
Crazy. Oo nga pala.
You did Magic Johnson, you do the trade? I think he did, diba? I think he said it was one of the trades that he regrets the most or something. Si Mike Muscala for Ivica Zubats. I do remember that. Nung nabasa ko yun, parang, oh my God, why
For
did you
cap
trade?
space. That's crazy.
Sobrang grabe. Every time I watch si Ivica Zubats now, yun ang nararamdaman ko, parang, the Lakers still traded this guy for Mike Muscala. I cannot.
Alam mo Gab,
I
for the
cannot.
past 4 years, he's the center that the Lakers have needed eh. Parang siya
Diba?
yung missing piece eh, 'di ba? Parang sana nandun ka pa rin. Sobrang frustrating talaga.
Diba? So, yun, let's go to the Wolves now. I think the Wolves have an interesting situation with them because they are a good team. I don't think they are on the same level as the Nuggets or the Thunder, who have lost one game. Uh, so should they make a move? Should they make a big move, or should they make a move around the edges, like get more role players, get bench players, or should they make a big splash? Maybe trade for James Harden. I think they can. I think they have the contracts. They'll basically have to give up. I think say Naz Reid as one of the main pieces to send back to the Clippers if they want to get a James Harden. Maybe add some Mike Conley there in the package. But Kayo, Maui, if you were the Wolves, would you try to make a big trade, or just small moves just to improve the bench? Because their bench talaga is shallow. They play what, seven guys at the most per night. See Naz Reid as a sixth guy coming off the bench, and a little bit of Mike Conley. And if you count the 3 seconds of inbounding legend Joe Ingles, maybe you can get to eight.
Jiggling Joe, one of my favorite
Jalen Joe.
players. Yeah, I think yung Wolves has been in the rumor mill with a player like Ja Morant. I think the problem with them is they actually got weaker from the previous season, and they haven't had a solution to what they were lacking during the playoffs, which is another shot creator, another ball, uh, another facilitator outside of Anthony Edwards. And I think that if Harden would be made available, I'd probably make that splash. Throw some draft picks, throw the contracts that you need to make it work. Hope that you can keep Naz Reid in the lineup. I think that's their main priority. You don't want to make your bench so shallow that you end up being all-in starting lineup team. At the end of the day, the bench is an important component of being a contender. Just look at the Nuggets when they did not have a bench, di ba? Even when Jokic was posting historic numbers, they still struggled. I think it should be priority number one to keep Naz Reid. If they had to go all in, I still wouldn't trade Naz Reid. You have to keep somebody on your bench. So maybe they could also go that route of getting another facilitator. Maybe get a white boy who's good from the 3-point line. I think that's a recurring
Joe
trend right
Ingles is
now.
there. Joe Ingles
No,
is
no,
right
no,
there.
no. Somebody
Well,
in
DiVincenzo
the
is a white guy.
yeah. No, I mean somebody in the lines of like try to look for a Galispe or try to look for a Ty Jerome type of guy. I mean Pat Spencer or Cam Spencer. Pat Spencer from the Golden State Warriors is making his mark now. Cam Spencer in Memphis is also doing his mark. So maybe you could get somebody less expensive than a James Harden or Ja Morant. So it would be hard for me to envision them trading a player of the caliber of Naz Reid as of the moment. I think that maybe si Randall would even be a guy who would go out first before I see Naz Reid getting traded. So let's see. But definitely, I think the Wolves should make moves. They haven't really solved their issues from the previous season, and getting another shot creator, more shooters will definitely help the lineup. Remember, they lost Nikkei Alexander Walker, who's having an all-star light type of season for Atlanta this season.
Yeah, mahirap sa Wolves because uh medyo malaki na rin yung mga salary cap nila, 'di ba? So if you're talking about like a big trade, tama si Maui eh. You gotta look at like sino ba yung mga matitrade nila. Obviously Ant is off limits. Uh the other big contracts there sina Randall, Gobert, Naz Reid. Naz Reid, I agree, is probably has the most value, like the most attractive asset that they have. Uh, but I do want to keep him. We just talked about him earlier. He's the
Culture guy
only
din siya eh.
culture guy and the only guy who scores off the bench for Minnesota right now. He's the bench of Minnesota, sabi mo nga, Gab. Gobert and Randall, not sure what you're getting from them. Sort of similar to the situation with the Clippers. It really depends if you find like the right partner to trade with. Um, I don't think they can sign anyone also. So it's tough. Siguro for the Wolves, if yung Clippers, they really need to blow it up, rebuild, find get more picks. For the Wolves, I think it's more of getting more role players as of now. I think that's the more realistic route for them. They have a lot of young guys, pero yung problem is they're not getting enough playing time, or maybe they don't get the trust of the coaching staff yet, or they lack the experience. So, and then the other bench guys, Mike Conley. I love Mike Conley, grit and grind days pa with Memphis, but he's just too old. He's too old at this point. Ano na lang siya, mentor role. So that's the problem.
Should they add Chris Paul?
Lalo mo
Oh,
pang
no.
pinatanda, Mike Conley and Chris Paul.
Speaking of Chris Paul, it seems that he's not really the problem for the Clippers, even though they sent him away. I don't know. You have any thoughts on Chris Paul and what the Clippers did to him? Because it looked good for one game. They won against Atlanta nung pinalis sila si Chris Paul, but they're back to being the bad Clippers. So si Chris Paul was not the problem. Maui, Sammy, any other notes?
When Chris Paul signed with the Clippers, it was going to be his last season. He was going to retire. This was his farewell tour, and he really wanted to stay in LA to be with his family. When you signed him up, you knew that was the deal. You knew that was the situation. Uh, so I just can't believe that they just let him go home. They didn't even give him a chance to do his farewell tour, basically. So it hurts. It sucks. As a long-time Clipper fan, I got to watch this Clippers team with Blake, with DeAndre, with Chris Paul live. Uh ang hirap, ang hirap. That's why I've given up on the Clippers actually. This is why the Clippers is a
Are the
cursed team.
Clippers.
This is why the Clippers are the Clippers, because of the things that you do to your players. The basketball gods will not smile kindly on us when you do things to legends like Chris Paul. I disagree with what they did. Now, to be fair, there was rumors about, like, people were saying he was clashing with Tyloo, whatever. But still, I mean, come on, you signed them up for this. Sana hindi mo na lang siya sinign. That's the thing for me. You know Chris Paul is a very vocal guy. You know it was going to be his retirement tour. But mo pinilit to sign? That was also your fault. So, yeah, that's my take.
Yeah, and to touch up on that, it's not like si Ty Lue is Alex Polstra. I think si Pat Riley mentioned that Alex Polstra is their only untouchable thing in Miami. I think that's a recurring something that's been said before. And he's earned it, diba? With numerous finals appearances, numerous championships. I don't think Ty Lue has earned that is on that level with the Clippers organization, that they have their full trust. I think what they did with Chris Paul is similar to what they did with Blake Griffin. It's distasteful. Chris Paul
Good
even
point.
posted Chris Paul even posted on Instagram that he was surprised that he was sent home. That was how distasteful this was. They didn't even let him know before announcing or before deciding that they were not, that they were sending him to pack home. Sayang kasi, as they say, Chris Paul and Blake Griffin are probably two of the guys that have a big chance of getting their jersey retired by the Clippers, and both of them were wronged by the Clippers. So I don't know, that speaks, I mean, that's one of the main reasons why the Clippers remain to be the Clippers, why they are a cursed organization, because they keep on doing stuff that are not good when it comes to team culture. And I hope a team picks up Chris Paul so that he can get some recognition, but I would not be hopeful at this point. Sayang, he actually had a pretty good season with the Spurs, mentoring the young guns. And I think si Stephon Castle has so many good things to say about him and how he has helped in development. that could have been the retirement tour of Chris Paul. What an end to a Hall of Fame career, a top 75 NBA player. Very distasteful move by the Clippers, in my opinion.
Yeah. Imagine if he goes. He wants to stay in LA, diba? I think that's the reason he went to the Clippers. He wants to stay in
Yeah.
LA. Imagine if he goes to the Lakers. Like, he goes to the Lakers. I'm gonna try to win here. Or he goes back with his buddy, si SGA, yung student niya. Like, yung let's try to win it here. Diba? Although I don't think OKC will disturb the vibes there of their team with by adding Chris Paul. No?
But
They're doing well on their own.
But nga no, magandang angle din nun. He has history with Oklahoma when he played for the Pelicans. So that could also be a good story.
Yeah, that's it for me. Any other notes, Sam Maui, for this game?
I do want to say shout out to Disney Plus for helping us watch the games on the NBA games live on Disney Plus. So guys, if I'm sure a lot of you guys have Disney Plus accounts, you watch a lot of shows or movies on Disney Plus. So if you do,
Yung
don't forget you
kids,
can,
you can show it
especially
to your
people with
kids.
kids. As a dad of a 3-year-old, may kalaban ako manood on Disney Plus. So if you wanna watch NBA and you already have Disney Plus, since your kids are watching their movies or shows on Disney Plus, check out the live games on the live NBA games on Disney Plus. They also do show the pregame show. So before the game start, they also talk about the upcoming game. For tomorrow, I think we have another game. Speaking of Oklahoma and Chris Paul, SGA, we do have Thunder versus Utah tomorrow at 9 a.m. on Disney Plus. Siguro Gab and Maui, siguro before we go, any parang preview, wanna preview the game for tomorrow? Any thoughts? Thunder, the best
This is a
team
high
in the
chance
West.
that they'll baka the second loss of the Thunder this season. I don't think SGA is playing. He is out for tomorrow.
Wala
So
siya bukas. Okay, interesting.
yes, we
We will
might
finally see
see.
them without the god, SGA.
Yeah, we might see the Thunder lose. So if you're looking for, if you're not rooting for the Thunder and want them to lose because they are dominating right now and you want your team to win, maybe watch the game tomorrow. This will probably want to be the few times na manatalo ang Thunder this season because they look unstoppable. It is the Jazz, but they do have guys. Si Keontae George is playing well. Si Lauri Markkanen is playing well.
Markkanen.
So maybe they could upset the Thunder. The Thunder are still good even without SGA. Just put it that way. They're still pretty good, but wala yung MVP nila. Maybe baka lang yung ma-upset ang Thunder. Who knows, diba?
So yeah, that's it. Stay tuned for the Thunder versus Jazz tomorrow at 9 a.m. Get to watch the NBA games live on Disney Plus. And if you missed the game earlier, the Clippers versus the Wolves game, it turned out to be a very interesting game. So you can watch replays. You can rewatch that game on Disney Plus. Just subscribe and look for the NBA content. That's it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed the first ever NBA game coverage on the Boleros podcast. If you haven't yet, please like this video, share with your friends, comment down below your thoughts on the games on Disney Plus, NBA games on Disney Plus. We'll see you again next time. Bye bye.